Family Ordinance Opportunities is a family search experimental program to help members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints find temple ordinances that they can complete at one of the worldwide temples. I have found it also to be a wonderful research tool. This video will explain how the program works at this time. Because it is in experimental stage, expect changes as they test the program. At the time of this video, you will need to type in or copy and paste this URL to use the Family Ordinance Opportunities program. It currently can't be found with links through FamilySeardh. The URL will be listed in the comments following the video. Okay, once you have the URL either typed in or copy and pasted in, it will bring you to the Family Ordinance Opportunities. Now you need to know that this is available only to members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints because this program or chart is to help members find deceased family members who may need temple work completed. It is a wonderful tool for researching family members also. Let me first show you how the chart works to help you find individuals who need temple ordinances completed. Then I will show you how it can be used to research your family line. Alright, it's a fan chart and it's very similar to the fan chart in FamilySeardh. But one of the things you need to realize is that this page is an experimental prototype. Known issues will be addressed in future releases, including ordinance counts displayed in green circles may be inconsistent. This page is best used on a desktop, laptop, or large tablet. It cannot be accessed on your mobile phones. So they mentioned these numbers. I will explain these in green here, these little circles, in just a little bit. But the chart starts with yourself. This is me here in the center, and then my husband, and then my parents, my grandparents, and so forth, just like the other fan chart. And notice that it's all blue with just different shades of blue showing the different generations. So if you want to change the person here, if you don't want it to be you, you could click on, if you wanted your spouse there, you would click right here and he would jump to there. I'll just go ahead and do that. And now he is there. Alright, and let me jump back to myself. Alright, and then if we have a different person in our ancestry, like this Charles, notice that as I hover over these, there's a little fan chart that shows up. So let's go to my great-great-grandmother. And now she is listed in the center with her husband here. And this is her chart. And then I can also go back to my chart right up here. Okay, and then also you can insert a person. If you have somebody in FamilySeardh and you want to put them here, you can type in their ID. There is a personal ID for each person, and then you would click to go, and they would become the center of this fan chart. Alright, on this chart are these little green circles. And as it says up here, this is approximate number of family members with ordinances available to reserve. Now remember this, family members, so this is per person. And it's taken me a while to figure out these little green circles. It's kind of hard, but I'm going to go in to the next chart that comes up as we click on one of these. Let me go ahead and click on Isaac Abraham Wattenpaugh. So on him, another chart comes up. And up here it says family details. So this is Zoethral, and Isaac Abraham Wattenpaw. So let me get off of this again. So notice that this is right between the couple, Zoe and Isaac. So we have Daniel and Sarah, okay? So the couples, that little green spot is for the couple and their themselves and their descendants. Okay, so I already clicked on Abraham. So let me just make sure you understand that this number, this circle, comes between a couple. So here's David, Kephar, and Sarah. And so they have at least 100 people that have ordinances that need to be done. Thomas, Watts, and Nancy have 7. Isaac and Abraham 56. I can't remember who it was I was going to click on. I'm going to go ahead, we'll click on a few of them, but I'll just show you right here on Isaac and Zoethral. Oh, this is it. This is the one that I wanted. Okay. There happens to be Isaac and Zoe were the two that were on the blue chart over here, right here. But he had another wife, Elvira. After Zoe died, he remarried. And so it has ordinances for all 3 of them. And it shows down here parents. That's referring to these people here. And all 3 of them have their temple work completed. So there's nothing to do, no temple work for any of these 3 people. Then comes children and spouses. Okay, so we have wife of Abraham, a Wattenpaw, and that is Ruth Hale. Abraham is one of their Zoe and Abraham's sons, and this is his wife. Okay, and then it goes to the grandchildren and their spouses. So Alva H. Swans is one of the grandchildren, and here's a wife of Alva and also a second wife of Alva. And this shows the temple work that needs to be done. Okay, and then it goes to one more generation, great-grandchildren and spouses. So the same thing. So that number over here, that 56, is how many people are going to show up here. I think that that's what it is. And it's, like it said, I think it's not always going to be exact, but it's somewhere around there. How many different people have ordinances. Now also notice up here, one needs more information. Well, that's Ruth. And 22 completed. So of the children and their spouses, 22 are completed. But Ruth still has work that needs to be done. So down here we have 6 reserved, shared, and ready. So 6 of these people were shared with the temple and are now ready that you could do the work. 1 needs more information, and 97 have been completed. Okay, and then here we have 27 are ready, and 43 have been shared with the temple and are ready. So these are coming from a temple where people have shared it with the temple. These are just on your line and they need to be done. Then there's 10 that have been reserved and 167 that have been completed, and then 2 that need more information. So these orange boxes, let me show you the chart. So let me stop here and show you the charts, 2 charts, and then I'll come back to this. On the fan chart, there's letter codes. The B stands for baptism, the C stands for confirmation, I stands for initiatory, E stands for endowment, SP stands for sealing to parents, and SS stands for sealing to spouse. Alright, there's also a color code for each ordinance. Gray, the ordinance has already been completed. Blue, this ordinance has already been reserved. Orange, this ordinance needs more information to reserve it. Green, this ordinance is ready to reserve. Green with a little clock, this ordinance is ready to reserve, but has a time limit of 90 days. And a little white box with the dotted lines around the edge. This ordinance is not available for you to do at the temple. Okay, so back to the chart. So let me just show you, try to explain it a little bit better. So on Ruth, more needs to be explained. You need more information here. So you can click on View Details, and I'm going to right click and open this in another tab. So here is Ruth Hale, and it says cannot request, needs more information. This person must be linked to the parents before the sealing can be performed. So let's go to her details here. Alright, and we see that she only has a mother, so we need to find her father, and then she can be sealed to her parents. Okay, and let's go back. And her other temple work has been done. So that is what you need, is the father on that one. Okay? And so that's the same with this, that there's some kind of information. You go to View Details, and it would give you the information of what you need. And then on these, they can be reserved. So I'm going to open this in another tab. And here is what's ready, sealing to the spouse. So you can request that temple work to be done, the sealing to spouse. Okay, so it's pretty simple to go down, and let's see if there's anything else I need to explain here. I covered that. Okay. Let me go on now. So the last thing I wanted to talk about was this filter. So if I say all family members, it's going to default right here to any ordinance that needs to be completed. This one is all family members, and if you do this, it gives you everybody under Abraham and Zoe, whatever, and so you're just going to get a lot of work that's already been completed. So you really I don't know right now that there's really any reason to use that. You can go back to reset, so it goes back to any ordinance. But the nice thing is, if you want to go do baptisms, you can click on baptisms. And it says none available for females. So I can change this to male, and I have an Edward Ira Lewis that has baptismal work that's needed. And I can reset it, and it goes back to any ordinance. So let's go to endowment, and I have 22 endowments for males. Let's see if I have females. I have 9 that can be done on this family line. So that's what this filter is about, and you can just click there and it takes you back to any ordinance. Alright, so I want to show you how you can do some research on this. I clicked on Robert Watts and Nancy York. So I'm going to click on that. There was 46 ordinances there. And I hope I can find each of these, or this person that I'm looking for. I think it was a great-grandchild. I'm looking for John Dennis York. Okay. There's quite a few. There he is, right here. So Viola Watts and her husband John Dennis York. Now I forgot to mention in this before, if you want to continue on with their research, you can click this right here. Let me open it in another tab so you can see. So I can go to Viola, and I'll get the chart on her and her husband right here, Viola Dennis, and it looks like she had another husband also. And then so she's listed as the parent, and then children and spouses, and then grandchildren, and then great-grandchildren. So I forgot to mention that before, so get that in, and so you can continue researching on the individuals. Um, so let me go back here. I just want to go to his page, so I would click on his name and open up a tab on John Dennis York. Okay, so this is a little bit how to research. So I came down to he and his wife, Viola, and I found that he has this Belle Regal as listed as a spouse. And I looked at the child, because there was temple work that needed to be done on this family line. And I see this Raleigh Ellis York, and notice this GW68. GW68. He's a child of John and Viola. So I was like, okay, so whose son is he? Well, I have no marriage date here. I have no more information on her. Viola, they were married in 1907, so I have that information. And he died in 1939, and she died in 1968. So if he was married, he is quite a bit older than Viola. If he was married to this Bella Regal, it would have been before 1907. So I was like, oh, let's go look at the sources. Since they married in 1907, here's the marriage date. I don't have a marriage for anything before that. And then I thought, well, let me look at the census. Now, census records really can have quite a bit of information. Different ones have different information. But let me pull this one up so we can find it. Okay. So here's Dennis York, and in 1910 he's 30 and Viola is 18. And it says, I'll blow that up a little bit bigger so you can see it. He has been married one time, and she has been married one time, and they've been married for 3 years. And notice here it says that they have had 2 children, and these are the children that are living, and they have 0 living. We don't have any children listed there. So you can see on this person underneath him, he'd been married twice, and this was her first marriage. And they have 11 children. Or no, they've been married 11 years. And then there's children here. Now, I don't know why they don't have that she has 2 children, because they've been married 11 years, so those have got to be her 3 children. Guess the census taker forgot that one. But, so let's go back to Dennis. They've both been married once, so he was not married previously. And they have had 2 children. So let's go back here. Oh, I guess I need to go back. John Dennis, okay, and let's go and look at the details. Let's notice here, the first child they have in FamilySeardh, it was born in 1910, and he was born in August. Well, the censuses were always taken and completed at the early part of the year, so probably April. I think a few went into May. So James was born after the census. Now, let's see, I'm going to go back to his sources. I'm trying to remember each thing I found on them. So obviously this Raleigh belongs in this family and not to this Bella Regal. And since she died after he did, unless they were divorced, I don't think they were, and he remarried, which is a possibility, but I don't think so. Let's look at, let's see, what else? Oh, okay, let me go back to the sources. So I went to the end, 1939, his death, I think, was there a find a grave? All right, here's his death certificate. Somehow, okay, and there's his parents, mother's name. Does it have a spouse on here? Usually they list a spouse. I didn't look at this one before. Okay, usually they list the spouse, but there's the birthplace. Dennis York, Mary Rebecca Ford, informant. Roy York, not his wife. So they don't have his wife on there. So that is, oh, it does say here he was divorced. So I just figured that out. He was divorced. So maybe he remarried to this other lady after that, but those children appear to be from Viola. Okay, oh, I just clicked off of him. Let me go back here. See if I can find that. Find a grave. I'm going to type in Control F and say find. It's not here on this. So let me go details. Let me go to Viola. Go to hers. See if I have a find a grave for her. At least I thought I'd found one. No, oh, let's see. She died 1968. Death, Social Security. Okay, I don't think I kept. Oh, there it is. Oh, now look at her name is Viola Bonham. Viola. Okay, let's go to. I didn't find it through her before. Okay, so this was her spouse, John Dennis. Let's go to them. And notice here, this is what, in 1908 it says William T. York. So immediately I thought, well, there is one of the children from that census. But then I clicked on him and it says that his father was D, which would be right, and then it says an I.F. York. Well, Viola is not I.F. I can't quite figure that out, but he was 3 months and 3 days, and he died in December of 1908. So, I'm not positive that this is his parents, or Viola's, because the children are listed under her, that she'd had 2 children. I think since, let's go back to Viola, go back to her details. Anyways, you can see from this that because I saw that there was temple work that needed to be done, and obviously she married a Bonham. So they were divorced, and afterwards she remarried. So I need to find more information on her second spouse. And then let's go back to Dennis. There it goes. And he probably remarried after their divorce. So I need to find out the date of their divorce and try to find out more information on their second spouses. And then, at least I know that there was Viola had 2 other children. But since he was born in 1910, if she had a son in 1908, I don't think there was time. I guess if he died in December, she could have gotten pregnant and had a stillborn in 1909. Or she may have had twins. I am really not sure. on that, but I just wanted to show you how you can, because there's temple work that needs to be done. You start looking at the family and what needs to be done, and then you look at the sources and you can do more research on the family and find information that needs to be found. So just to recap real quickly, when you want to research, going through this view details and looking at the individuals and pulling up their page, you can research these families and find more information that needs to be found. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this program and that you find it helpful. Thanks for watching. Happy hunting, happy helping, happy serving.